Hello, my name is Raquel Sanchez. I'm a lecturer in the Department of Business Organization and member of the Research Center on Production Management and Engineering at the Universitat Politécnica de Valencia. And in this presentation, which is part of the Business Continuity Managers Training Platform project, funded by the European Union, real-life case study related to crisis management will be shown. The learning output of this presentation covers the description of two case studies in which crisis management practices are addressed. The presentation is structured as follows. Firstly, there is an introduction describing what crisis management is. The second and third sections describe two case studies related to crisis management, to finish in section 4 with the main conclusions. Crisis management is the application of strategies and tactics developed to help an organization cope with a sudden and significant negative event that threatens to damage the organization or its stakeholders. The goal of crisis management is to minimize the damage caused by the crisis and, if possible, to restore the organization to its previous state of functioning. It's still relevant today, the case of Tylenol and its parent company Johnson & Johnson that happened back in 1982. 7 people in Chicago died from the tampering occurred, as was believed when someone injected cyanide into capsules and returned them to store shelves. Johnson & Johnson handled the case effectively, and the case has become a teaching case study for crisis management. The company had fast and decisive action. When the first 2 deaths happened, the company took actionable steps, stopped all product advertising, released statements and sent more than 400,000 messages to hospital, doctors and other stakeholders, established toll-free hotlines for consumers, and recalled all the product from store shelves and moves that cost them millions of dollars. Moreover, they act with honesty and integrity. Although it was evidence that the poison was introduced via store shelves, the company's CEO did not try to evade blame and express his regret that they had not moved away earlier from the capsules to a more resistant to tampering caplet. The action taken were aimed at showing the customers that they value their well-being above their profit margins. Of course, they were also thinking about their reputation in the long term. Although their sales plummeted for some time, they recovered quite quickly and managed to restore consumers' confidence and brand reputation. The company pioneered the development of tamper-resistant drug packaging, which the Food and Drug Administration mandated and changed the way we take pills today. Tylenol was relaunched with revolutionary new packaging and was a logical solution, but also an emotional one, as it was more of a crisis solution focused on public safety and consumer peace of mind. This case study shows that crisis management is not just a public relation-based damage control. Business continuity depends on it. A business-focused strategy action plan will help to focus on the victims of a crisis, maintain consumer confidence in a product or service safety, build strong business culture and reputation, and act quickly and with decision. The second case study is related to the Equifax data breach. This company is a credit reporting agency who suffered a massive data breach by hackers who access sensitive personal information of millions of consumers, including social security numbers and driver licenses. The incident was the costliest data security breach to date. The company spent $1.7 billion in legal settlements, fines, fees for consultants, lawyers, and investigators. A week after the breach was disclosed, Equifax lost more than $5 million in market valuation as its stock price declined 31%. Equifax had not made any public announcement of the problem until September. Meanwhile, a series of events worsened even the situation. People were unable to get information and sign up for credit protection as Equifax websites and consumer hotlines were overwhelmed and took weeks to work effectively. 3 executives were reported to have sold nearly $2 million worth of stock after the breach was disclosed, but before it was publicly disclosed. Equifax twice raised its estimate of the number of consumers affected. An investigation found that a series of basic mistakes at Equifax led to the breach. For example, the attack occurred through a server vulnerability that was a known issue, even though Equifax had previously notified system administrators to fix such a problem, but they never received the message because the email list was out of date. Proper data governance protocols were not in place, resulting in an expired digital certificate that allowed hackers to run queries to find consumer data for more than 70 days before the breach was discovered. One of the main mistakes in the company's public response was to direct consumers to a website that had errors resulting in a loss of consumer trust. Nothing in Equifax's slow and unusual response suggests that it anticipates or plans for such an event. A crisis management plan would have defined the crisis management team and how they should work together, the steps to be taken, the initial messages and statements, and the process for escalating the response as it gets worse. Other actions that the company should have taken are to create a good crisis management plan, to monitor the organization threats and update strategic decisions on systems, improvements, and upgrades. And finally, test and maintain the crisis management plan on a regular basis to be always effective. Crisis management is important because it enables organizations to effectively navigate and mitigate unforeseen challenges, safeguarding their reputation, minimizing potential harm, and ensuring a timely and well-coordinated response to crises. Through case studies, it's provided valuable insights, allowing organizations to learn from past experiences. The first case study prioritized the well-being of crisis victims, uphold consumer trust in the safety of products and services, cultivate a robust business culture and reputation, and respond promptly and resolutely. In the second one, it's highlighted that regularly monitoring threats and updating strategic decisions on systems improvements, along with routine testing and maintenance of the crisis management plan, is vital for ongoing effectiveness. And with the conclusion of this learning material, the presentation is finished. Thank you very much for your attention.